And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly, truly fantastic day today. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. For those of you who follow my channel, I'm sure you also follow Sports and Fitness Rants. Shout out to Sports and Fitness Rants. And if you follow Sports and Fitness Rants, then you no doubt have seen the back and forth over the last week, a few days, between him and this FYF Sports channel. And so today we're going to kind of react to the FYF Sports channel, reacting to Sports and Fitness Rants. And we're doing this to show how flawed the logic is of the defenders of LeBron James. Now, supposedly this guy, FYF Sports, has Michael Jordan as the GOAT, but he no doubt is a defender of LeBron James. That is for sure. And so like I said, we're going to expose not only the flawed logic, but just the general disconnect between defenders of LeBron James and Michael Jordan fans in general. I didn't tag him in this video because I really don't care if he sees this video or not. This is really just to make a point, and like I said, to be able to point out in real time how these defenders of LeBron James think and why they just don't get it. So without further ado, let's get into this.
People ain't said. So you're telling me that people don't excuse LeBron James' 2017 NBA Finals loss when he got a gentleman's sweep 4 games to 1? All I keep hearing is LeBron James winning against the Super Team Warriors in 2017. The Super Team Warriors that were down.
No, that's not what they say. They just say players were injured. That's what they say. They just say players were injured. They put context to it. That's all that happened. Because people like him, what they do is, and I said this on another channel as well, people will be having a conversation about LeBron James, and they will sit there and hyper focus on every negative that they can go Google.
So, first of all, I feel like, and this is not the very beginning of the video. I just kind of hopped in to where he actually starts playing some of the video and reacted to it. So first of all, I feel like he starts off very disingenuous to to say that LeBron fans do not say LeBron James went against super teams in 2017. Like that, like, okay, maybe you don't say that, but you cannot sit on your podcast with a straight face and say that they don't say that in general, because that's not the case. All we hear about is the teams that LeBron James has had to go through, and those Warriors with Kevin Durant is one of them. I don't even know how you could, if you want to say, I don't say that, okay. But to say that they don't say that in general, again, you're starting off disingenuous already. And then he says, all people do is pick out the negative things of LeBron James. Well, it's a lot deeper than picking out the negative things about LeBron James. Again, the thing we always talk about on this channel is, it is the how you do something. The how is everything. But anyway, let's continue.
They will literally Google as many negatives as they can find and say these are the reasons why he's not great. My thing is this right here. There's a reason why we don't have to have conversations about Michael Jordan versus Bimbo Cole. There's a reason why we don't have debates about Michael Jordan versus Craig Elo. There's a reason why we don't have debates about Michael Jordan versus Sean Bradley. Because it's just natural levels to this. And
Okay, so now this part he goes into here, I'm not even sure if he actually believes this. You really think Jordan fans are Googling negative things about LeBron James to have some talking points? Okay. Maybe you guys are just missing it. You need look no further than your TV screen when LeBron James is playing to find these negative things that people so-called research. Again, these negative things that he actually does while he's playing. Again, what so-called superstar that's supposed to be top 5 or top 10 can you look up and find flopping compilations? What superstar can you look up and find compilations of the guy not getting back on defense and his team having to play 4-on-5 so much? Again, this has nothing to do with having to Google. These things should be very visible to you when you watch LeBron James. Now the question is do these things bother you or not? And if they don't bother you, if LeBron James flopping around with the whole narrative of him being bigger, stronger, faster, of the whole narrative of the how fast and big he is for his position, and yet he chooses to flop often. This is not like a once every once in a while thing. Like, this is a often occasion, probably every game at this point. Because now I honestly believe it's such a habit for him that he doesn't know how to not do it. Among other things that I actually believe is so much of a habit and is so ingrained in what he does, like whining to the refs. I don't think he knows how to not do it. Again, just on the Mind the Game podcast, he was talking about that play where he got the block in 2016. And he says on the podcast with JJ Redick, basically, he was thinking that if the referees called a goaltend, he was ready to throw a temper tantrum. And my thing is like, why were you even thinking about that? I'll tell you why he was thinking about that. Because he is always thinking that the refs are out to get him. He is always thinking that, which is why he is whining so much. Again, but you LeBron James defenders would have to overlook that.
And that's why I say the more he talks about LeBron James, it just backfires on him. Because all you doing is like pouring gas on a fire. All you doing is because I don't think, and see, this is the problem with these people from this past desolate generation of the 90s. What they forget is that in this particular era, you're dealing with a new group of people that actually know how to go do research. They actually have access to all of those games. So the same games that you guys watched on those grainy floor televisions are the same games that kids today can watch in 720p from their desktop.
All right, so here we go. Now, again, he claims to be a Michael Jordan fan. He claims to tries to pretend like he is balanced in his approach. But here's the thing. You heard how he referred to the 90s as desolate. That's what he just did. So again, to me, all this kind of talk is the stuff that was born in the LeBron James era. Again, in the 90s, I don't remember us ever talking about, oh, well, you know, Jordan is the GOAT because the 80s and 70s were desolate. The 80s and 70s were less skilled. No, it wasn't about that. It was simply all you had to do was look at how Jordan played on the court. And speaking of that, so he goes on to talk about in this modern era, kids having access to the videos. Well, good point. Good point. They do have access to the videos, which is why we see so many of these young kids doing reaction to Michael Jordan videos for the first time and changing who they thought the GOAT was. Yeah, you're right. We do have access. This is why your king is in a no-win situation, despite him having Clutch Sports pushing all the narratives that anyone could ever want to push, despite him having Clutch Sports making phone calls to people on the media who may say something negative or give LeBron James some criticism. Despite all of that, they cannot erase the legacy of Michael Jordan, because you're right. Kids today do have access, and all you have to do is go on YouTube, look at these reaction videos, and you will see many kids changing their opinion about the GOAT debate. Again, having that, the eye test never fails. Like you guys can bring up that 40,000 points and 10,000 rebounds and blah, 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 all that stuff all you want. The eye test never fails. And these kids watch Michael Jordan for the first time. And again, I need to put a compilation together of the amount of kids who watch Michael Jordan and say he is an alien. But you know, the funny thing is I was watching some old games the other day, and they would refer to him in the media as an alien back then. Like, we're not sure if he's human. And today, in 2024, you see these kids who weren't alive to see Michael Jordan play react to Michael Jordan and question his humanity. That's how great he was. So yeah, you're right. Kids do have access to information, and that information is the reason why LeBron James will never be able to take that throne, because the footage is there for all to see.
And they get to doing research. Y'all really do a disservice when y'all sit here and try to convince people that LeBron James isn't in these circles or conversations. Why don't y'all just because basketball is a very simple game. The beauty of basketball, y'all, is that basketball really will tell its own tale. If you ain't nice, you ain't nice. If you nice, you nice, and you'll be in those conversations. It just goes back to what I just said. We will never sit here and have a conversation about Michael Jordan versus Bimbo Coles. Why will we never have a conversation about Michael Jordan versus Bimbo Coles or Michael Jordan versus Vernon Maxwell? Because we can just watch without saying a word. All of us can sit in the room and just watch Michael Jordan play and then watch a game where Vernon Maxwell plays. Without saying a word, with no debates, we know who's the better player.
And there you go. Like, again, him saying that, you would think that this actually registers with him. But this is the same thing people who watch Michael Jordan. Again, here's the thing with a lot of, and I don't know how old this guy is, but this is the thing that younger fans and people who try to defend LeBron James, who I believe mostly are much younger fans, is you guys did not have the benefit of actually watching Michael Jordan's career. So for whatever you guys want to hold on to this recency bias, you want to listen to the narratives that the media tell you, we were there in real time watching greatness that will never be duplicated. We were there for it. And so here's the thing. Not only were we there to witness it on the court, but we were there to see what real greatness does off the court. And what I mean by that is real greatness sparked Nike and blew up Nike. They couldn't have turned anyone else into that major superstar Nike. They've been trying to do it already. But it was Jordan's greatness. It was the way Michael Jordan went about the game of basketball that allowed Nike to blow up. It was the way that Jordan went about basketball that allowed the 92 Dream Team to not only take the game global, but to inspire all of these foreign players all across the world. And again, all you have to do is look back through some of my videos, especially videos when I'm talking about the 90s, and see the amount of people who chime in from outside of the US. From outside of the US who funny enough, pretty much has the same feeling as we did living in the U.S. Maybe it might have even been even more for them because they didn't live here, because it was harder for them to get to games, you know. And so, yeah, Michael, we got to witness not only the greatness on the court, but we got to see what true greatness inspires. And true greatness from Michael Jordan, like I said, it blew up Nike. It, you know, Be Like Mike, Gatorade, like I said, took the game global, inspired all of the athletes outside of the U.S. Not only inspired athletes in basketball, inspired athletes in all sports. Again, because I've been going back and watching a lot of these games and seeing how they covered the games and the conversation that was going on in the games, you would often hear them say that Michael Jordan was not only the greatest basketball player, but they often said Michael Jordan may be the greatest athlete to play any sport ever. Michael Jordan may be the greatest athlete to play any sport ever. This is what they were saying about this guy. And so, yeah, like I said, we were there. You know, for you, and it's a difference between watching highlight reels. It's even a difference between going back and watching the games. If you weren't living that 90s culture lifestyle on a day-to-day basis, like I said, playing basketball every day, being out with your friends, be like, hey, what time the game come on? Oh, so we either all watching it together or I gotta go. You know, we might go out to a bar and watch it, or we might go to somebody's house and watch the game, but when the game is on, everybody got to go. Like, we're watching the game. So it was basketball and watching basketball every day. Again, part of the culture. And so for you guys who didn't live back then, you really don't have a leg to stand on. And that's why I always say, for people who have older players at the GOAT, I'm not going to argue with you. Like, I don't agree with you, but I'm not going to argue with you, and I can respect that because, again, I wasn't there to watch Bill Russell win those 11 championships. And being there makes a difference. Again, it doesn't matter how much research you do, how many numbers you look up. You can never truly understand unless you were there in those moments, unless you was there in the culture when it was happening. You can never, ever truly understand it. So, yeah. Let's continue.
But see, the fact that he has to make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos trying to convince people that LeBron isn't in this conversation really just means LeBron is in the conversation, because he isn't making these videos about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And we've had plenty of people come on this channel and say that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is in the GOAT conversation. He doesn't make these videos about Wilt Chamberlain. We've had plenty of people like Bees come on this channel and say Wilt belongs in that conversation.
All right, so yeah, let's address this. Because again, I feel like there's a true disconnect between these LeBron defenders. So let me say this. First of all, the reason we don't make videos about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain, because they aren't overrated. They have more of a legitimate case to actually be in the conversation. And again, the whole thing is we are making videos, but first of all, let me say this. You guys want to act as if Clutch Sports is not out there pushing narratives about LeBron. This is the problem. You guys want to ignore that fact, and you just want to focus on how many videos we make about LeBron James. Well, we make these videos because Clutch Sports is out there and the media is out there pushing narratives that aren't true about LeBron James. So this is why it's about LeBron James and not Kareem and Wilt, because LeBron James is the unworthy superstar in this debate. He is unworthy. Kareem is worthy. Russell is worthy. Kobe is worthy. Magic is worthy. Bird is worthy. Tim Duncan is worthy. All these other players are worthy. Like, we don't have any gripe about how and what they accomplished. But again, the gripe with LeBron James is about how he accomplished what he accomplished. And again, this is what you guys want to ignore. And you want to ignore that, and you want to pretend as if Clutch Sports isn't out there doing the same thing. Like, we are simply combating the endless narratives that they push about LeBron James. So if there's major media outlets out there constantly saying LeBron James has to be at least number 2, if there's major media outlets constantly pushing this narrative that LeBron James is a past first player, tell me how. LeBron James is not a past first player. If there's major media networks out there pushing this narrative that because LeBron James' longevity was able to break Kareem's scoring record, that makes him somehow the best scorer, are you crazy? When it's the average, how many do you average on a nightly basis? Here, let me give you an example for this. If you got one game for your life, and part of the criteria for the game is having the best scorer to ever play basketball, who are you going to take? The guy that averages 30 on a nightly basis, or the guy that averaged 27 for a longer period of time? Remember, you're taking the best scorer. And I think the answer to that is self-explanatory. If you're going for one game, that means this guy's going to give you 30 points in the game, or this guy's going to give you 27 points in the game. Meaning the guy who can get you 30 is a better scorer. Just because the guy who can get you 27 has been doing it for a long time, that does not make him the better scorer. I don't even know why we need an analogy to explain this. One is more. One is more right now. One is more right now. But anyway, let's continue.
We've had plenty of people come up here and say a lot of people should be in that same GOAT conversation, but it seems like he's hyper-focused on one particular player. That's LeBron James. And I tell you guys, they're hyper-focused on LeBron James. One, because LeBron James is still playing, adding to his resume. And we're talking about one of the greatest resumes in basketball, in sports history. We're not even just talking basketball history. LeBron James has one of the greatest resumes in sports history. How he got to that resume, you guys can sit there and cry and be petty about how he got that resume. But your resume is your resume. You are your resume.
Okay, now see, this is what I'm talking about. That what he said right there. There's the disconnect. Again, everything that we say about LeBron James is all about how you got your resume. Yes, that matters. To say that your resume is your resume, well, that's the same thing as saying if you rob a bank to get $1 million, well, you got $1 million. It's not the same thing as someone who earned that $1 million. So again, this is where the real disconnect is between LeBron James defenders, is they don't want to address how he actually earned that resume. And it's no big deal for them, the fact that he took shortcuts to that resume. Again, the how is everything. Again, the prize is only worth the amount of sacrifice and hard work that it took to get it. If someone hands you the prize, well, if that's the case, well, again, why don't you just put NBA trophies for sale on eBay, and whoever got enough money to buy the most trophies, I guess is the GOAT. Why don't you make everything about basketball you're able to pay for it? You can pay for stats, you can pay for your points, you can pay, because pretty much this is what LeBron James has done in the way that he's attained these things. is he's not attained. Again, you want to talk about the longevity? Let's talk about the fact that he hadn't played over like 65 games in the last 5 years or so. Let's talk about the fact that he's only played 82 games once. Let's talk about the fact that he stopped playing defense since he left Miami, pretty much. And I don't want to hear about the block in 2016 because, again, I've always said LeBron James is not a great defender. He's a player who has made some great defensive plays, but he is not a consistently great defender. Again, he hadn't made a defensive team since Miami. So you can't say, oh, your resume is your resume. No, it's not. Your resume absolutely is not your resume. And for you to think that means that you are absolutely willing to ignore how someone got their resume.
That's what we are going to judge him on. That's what we're doing with LeBron. And so the reason why they're so hyper focused on LeBron James is because a lot of these Jordan fans are looking at LeBron's resume. And the first thing that they're saying to themselves is, fuck. Damn, this motherfucker leads almost every statistical category in the playoffs. Damn, he might have them all. Damn, this motherfucker broke Kareem's scoring record. And they looking at achievement, accolade after accolade after accolade. And so now the only thing they can really do is, okay, we have a list of achievements that's endless. But just like every single player in NBA history, every player also has a list of failure. So what do? They run to LeBron James's list of failures. And what they'll do is they'll try to narrate to as many people as possible that LeBron James's list of failures is just as lengthy as his list of career achievements.
That's false. That is absolutely false. First of all, no one is intimidated by LeBron's accomplishments. I think, again, this is the disconnect. See, you think we look at what LeBron James accomplished like, oh my goodness, how are we going to combat that? No, we look at those accomplishments like they are fraudulent, like they were not earned. This is the disconnect. This is what you guys truly don't understand. Again, the only way for you to allow LeBron James to be ranked in the top 5 is for you to ignore those things and for those things not to be important to you. But let me tell you something. This thing is about sports. Sports is, first of all, it's supposed to be competition. But what really draws people to sports? What drew people to Michael Jordan is that will. We were able to see his will on the court and that he was unshakable, unbreakable. There was never a playoff series that Michael Jordan lost that you can point to Michael Jordan and say he was the reason that they lost. Because again, and I'm putting this Michael Jordan above everybody in this sense. Michael Jordan's will was unshakable and unbreakable at all times. And we watch sports because that's what we're trying to see, is who has the greatest will. Who has the will to overcome. Forget all this extra stuff that you guys want to talk about. You know, you want to talk about some X's and O's. Well, X's and O's mean nothing without the players, without having the players who can get the results. And more so than the X's and O's, and more so than a player just being talented, it is the will of that player. It is truly, again, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. These are sayings for a reason because for the most part, they reign true. If you have two athletes that have similar athleticism, similar skill, then who's going to win? It is going to be that one who has that will, who hustles every single play, who makes that extra effort to get that loose ball, who makes that extra effort to get the rebound, to get the steal, who makes that extra effort when it would seem that he has to be tired and completely out of gas, but somehow he finds a way to keep going. This is why we play sports. So for you to talk about, oh, well, you know, they look at LeBron's numbers and they just get intimidated. They see all these stats in the resume and it's just overwhelming. That's completely ridiculous. No, we don't respect his resume. His resume was gained through shortcuts. We will never respect that. It's no way you can be a true fan of Michael Jordan and respect how LeBron James has won. It's no way you can be a true fan of Michael Jordan and Larry Bird and Kobe Bryant and have LeBron James in your top 5, top 10. It's no way. Because the things that these players embodied is not what is not in LeBron James. It's not in LeBron James. And then he says, we try to tell people that LeBron James' list of failures are just as lengthy as his accomplishments. No, that's not it either. I don't really understand where this guy gets some of this stuff from, except for the fact that he's just either he's projecting, that's probably the case. But I really don't know where he gets some of this stuff from. But no, we do not try to make LeBron James' list of failures as long as his list of accomplishments. We simply say, again, that we don't respect his accomplishments because of how he got them, and that his failures are magnified because he was in control of his situations. He was in control. He decided to go to Miami. He decided to join 2 other superstars. He decided to get up on that stage and say, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, and not 7. He made that choice. He decided, and that was a cocky statement to make. That was a cocky statement to make for a team that hadn't played together yet. But again, they were that cocky because they knew it was a super team. Just like you LeBron James defenders tried to somehow say it wasn't a super team, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, they know it was a super team. That's why they were so cocky when they got together. And so to be that cocky, to have made a choice, to have left Cleveland in the fashion that he did, again, because he didn't give them an advance notice that this was happening. And I think I saw an interview with Byron, I think it might have been Byron Scott, who was talking about that the Cleveland front office was like, sure, LeBron James was coming back, and Byron Scott was like, yeah, I don't know if that's happening. Like, let me make a call. So they found out last minute, and don't quote me on the Byron Scott, but it was some player I was watching. But yeah, he jetted on Cleveland at the last minute. He goes to a super team, and then 2011 happens. Yeah, you get more criticism for that, considering you put yourself in that position. Just like we would do in life. We have less sympathy for someone who puts themselves at the position. Like, you might have a friend who decides to get in some business, and you tell them, hey man, maybe you're a businessman, and you tell them, hey man, that's not a good idea. That's really not a good idea. I know some people who've done it and they lost a lot of money, and then that person does that thing anyway, and all you can say is, I told you so. So it's like, when you put yourself in that position, no, you don't get any sympathy. And even worse than LeBron putting himself in that position, again, he put himself in a position to where he was trying to stack the deck. He was trying to give himself an advantage instead of just simply making himself better. So yeah, he gets extra criticism for his failures when he chose everywhere he went, when he's chosen a lot of the players and coaches that he's played with. Anyway, let's continue.
Career achievements. And that's why they harp on the negative. They can't use Jordan's resume to outpace LeBron. They don't have enough in the chamber. They don't have enough bullets in the chamber to go toe for toe with regards to resume versus LeBron.
Okay, that's completely ridiculous. Like, for him to say that, to me, lets me know you don't know anything about Jordan's resume. So that lets me know that the only thing that comes to his mind is probably 6-0 in the finals, 6 finals MVPs, 5 MVPs, never allowing a game 7. That's probably what he's memorized about Jordan. But again, Jordan has so many more impressive stats that can impact the game. Defensively. Like I said, having 200 steals and 100 blocks in the season. Defensive player of the year. 9-time first team all defense. Because everybody keeps bringing up, LeBron James has made 6 defensive team. But make sure you say that he's only made 5 first team. He's only made 5 first team. And again, he hadn't made a defensive team since he left Miami. So again, things about Jordan that are just really unbelievable. Like the fact that I think it's from 91 to 98, never losing 3 games in a row. Winning 25 out of 26 playoff series during that time period as well. I mean, Jordan just has records that are really just show you his dominance. Only thing that's impressive, and that I put that in quotation marks, impressive about LeBron James is the longevity stats. But again, we don't respect it because of how he got it. This is what you LeBron James defenders don't get. Yes, it's not petty. It is about fair competition. And if you're trying to stack the deck and not be fair in the way that you play, it's going to get no respect, period.
Nor do they even have the intellectual capacity to debate it, because you're talking to somebody that I have Jordan as the GOAT. But a lot of these guys don't really have the intellectual capacity to even explain to you why Jordan is the GOAT. They will use some type of weird, flawed criteria that be putting other people as the GOAT. Remember, just yesterday we did a live stream. This fool on the panel talking about Jordan the GOAT because he's 6-0. I said, if that's your criteria, then why is Bill Russell not your GOAT?
Okay, surely this guy's been around basketball long enough to understand that most people who have Jordan as the GOAT, it is not just because he's 6-0 in the final. Jordan is the GOAT because across all categories, he checks the boxes more than any other player across all categories. And here's something I was actually thinking about the other day. I know this is a long video, y'all, but bear with me. This is something I was thinking about the other day. I was like, should we be giving Bill Russell more credit for those 11 championships? Even though he wasn't really an offensive force. Is it possible that someone who just has such a defensive presence that he can impact winning to that degree, should he have a lot more credit? And again, we know the other reasons that because it was so many more less teams, again, so it's so many less variables from season to season. Again, if you had a great team with multiple Hall of Famers like that and you were able to keep it intact, chances are you were going to be in good shape from year to year. So it's less variables. But just on an individual basis, I was thinking to myself, should we give Bill Russell more credit despite not being is strong on the offensive end? And I came to the conclusion, no. And this is because, to me, yes, you can be a great defender, but if you don't have anybody who can put up some buckets, you can't win. So Bill Russell had other people who could put up some buckets, and he got to focus on defense. And obviously, he was a great leader, and a great defender. But again, besides the other stuff of playing in an era where it's only 10 teams and it's less variables, it was 10 to 12 teams or something like that, and it's less variables from season to season. But just on an individual basis, yes, you would rather have Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan plays hard on defense and he can also get you a bunch of points. He can do both. He's a dog on defense and on offense. And again, this is why we know Michael Jordan is the GOAT, because he checks all the boxes in all categories more than any other player. Again, these guys want to hang their hat on these longevity stats for LeBron. But again, how many years gonna go by without another championship? I mean, the guy got 4 championships in 21 years. And again, because he got them, I add them all up to like 1.5 championships. I don't think he should get full credit for really none of his championships. And, you know, you can talk all you want about the 2016 comeback, but because of the kicking out of Draymond Green and the injuries on the Warriors side, it makes it questionable. But here's the thing. This is where you get into patterns as well. But because if LeBron James' track record, though, was that he overcame instead of switching teams and going to Miami, and he had 2 previous championships before 2016 that was earned the right way, then he would get the benefit of the doubt for 2016 as well. And then, of course, 2020, that season was trash through and through. And then they played Miami Heat in the finals. I mean, yeah. So to me, all of LeBron James championships, I give him credit for 1.5. Anyway, we're going to hold up here. This video's going on much longer than I wanted. But like I said, I just wanted to show how there is truly a disconnect between LeBron James defenders, the LeBron James fanboys. There's a disconnect between how they see it. And the problem is they are willing to overlook these things that are deplorable to Jordan fans. And why are they deplorable to Jordan fans? Because Jordan had more will than we've seen any other athlete have. Because Jordan was willing to overcome. Because we watched Jordan truly get better throughout the entirety of his career. We watched Jordan come back season after season. Again, if you think about Michael Jordan, not only his career path, his coming into the NBA, you know, the getting swept by Larry and them and going through those battles, and then going through the whole Pistons battles and finally overcoming to get the championship. So think about that road in itself, right? Because that is like the victory story for Jordan. And we all know that the Pistons are responsible for shaping Jordan to that impenetrable, fearless leader that he became. But if you think about that, but then even after they broke through and won the championship, if you think about the amount of mental fortitude that it takes to come back each year and get yourself to that place mentally to stay on top of the mountain, because it becomes harder each championship. Again, I think I heard Angry Old Hoops say, it might have been on the Michael Jordan fans are the best panel, but I think I might have heard Angry Old Hoops say, and if I'm misquoting you, I apologize, but I think he said something to the effect that by Michael Jordan's 6th championship, he was actually hoping the Jazz won. And a lot of people, I didn't feel like that, but a lot of people felt like that, because when you manage to stay at the top, people start to want to see someone else win. Like, people start to think, like, is this guy ever going to lose? And people want to see new faces at the top. So again, each championship gets harder, because not only do you have to take yourself back to that mental place to play to your maximum ability, but also everybody's coming after you harder too. Like, all the teams are like, you got the biggest target on your back, because everybody wants to knock you off that throne. So if you think about that in totality, with overcoming the Pistons, and then year after year after year, retired to play baseball, and people keep forgetting that, you know, his father was deleted, you know, by somebody else. I think it was a robbery or something. Died in a horrible way, and he had to deal with that, and to come back and to climb right back to the top of the mountain the very next year after they lost to the Magic. And not just climb back to the top of the mountain, climb back to the mountain in a record-setting pace. Again, to me, the Warriors' 73-9 record does not count. It might as well be it might as well be 0-82 because they didn't win the championship. So to come back and climb the top of the mountain again with 72-10, winning the championship and winning 2 more championships after that, you know, the mental fortitude that it takes, and to do that is incredible. So for people who relate to Michael Jordan because of that, because of his mental fortitude, because of his mental toughness, because of his will to do it night after night after night without a night off, because of his willingness and his feeling like he was obligated to play 82 games for the fans who paid their hard-earned money, to feel like he was obligated to give his absolute best to the fans who paid their hard-earned money, who understood that he was able to make the money that he made because of the fans. For people who support Michael Jordan, LeBron James is unacceptable. Period. This is what you LeBron James defenders do not understand. For people who grew up in that era and witnessed what we witnessed, again, we witnessed it. Well, we didn't have to go research it. We didn't have to go look at YouTube videos. We didn't have to watch highlights. We witnessed it. For people who grew up in that era, LeBron James is unacceptable. And I'm done playing this video, but I do want to bring this last thing up. I hope y'all still with me. But he also bought up the super team things, and we've heard them defend this all the time, basically saying, they only have a problem with LeBron because it's a player-made super team. He talked about that at some point. And yes, of course we have a problem with a player-made super team, because at that point it becomes your choice to join the competition instead of beat them. When teams are making trades, because he tried to say that, teams making trades and stuff is not organically. I see organically is anything that's out of your hands. You can't control what your team does and what the managers does. If they trade for another superstar, that is out of your control. But you as a player and a competitor, and understanding that the superstars in the league are each other's competition, because you are the best in the league. So why in the world would you want to join the competition? You're not competing against the role players. LeBron James' competition in the NBA shouldn't be other role players. I mean, my goodness, he just said on Mind the Game podcast a month ago or something, calling the rest of the Miami squad minimum guys. I mean, are you serious? So yes, you making the choice to play with a super team is different than teams trading or drafting. If the team trades or draft, that is out of your control. Just like if you're in a company and your boss hires a bunch of all-stars, or you could be a car salesman. If your boss hires all the best car salesmen from around the city, well, that's out of your control. So yes, trading and drafting for that's out of your control. But again, you as a superstar, you make that choice to say, I'm going to join the only other people in the league who can offer me competition. That's the superstars. Again, you're not playing against the role players. That's not your competition. Your competition is, can you not only be a better player than the other superstars, but can you be a better leader as well? Because it takes both to be on that Mount Rushmore. The Mount Rushmore is full of players who are not only great players, but great leaders. And again, if you are a true fan of Michael Jordan and you grew up during that era and you experienced everything we experienced about the will of Michael Jordan, about Michael Jordan being the best basketball player to ever live and arguably the greatest athlete to play any sport. I'm saying this is what they were saying back then, that it is no way that you can accept LeBron James being a top 10 player. We gonna hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly, truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.